This is episode 7 of The Art of Agency, a launchpad for realtors. I'm Jonathan Green with
Mallory Pastor.
And our guest, Amanda Todd, who runs the Amanda Todd Group. She's in 3 states. She's also a well-known national speaker, dubbed in the old days as the $1 Million Mom. She's also the host of The American Dream, an Emmy-nominated TV show that we're going to talk about. Amanda, and she's also a very good friend of mine, so welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. And on these episodes, we're just going to do deep dives into one important part of a business that can help other real estate agents grow. And for you, you know what I'm going to focus on. Let's talk about the $1 Million Mom and how that got started. You got started in 2014 in real estate, but what led you into real estate?
Well, I had been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, and I all of a sudden found myself as a single mom. And with my kids never having been in daycare before, I just wanted to keep things as normal as possible. I'd had a few people tell me, you'll do well in real estate, so why not go into real estate? I jumped both feet in, having no clue what I was doing. I don't have anybody in real estate in my family. I'd only lived where I lived for 18 months, so it's not like I had a huge sphere of influence. I just jumped both feet in because I had 3 babies to support.
Yeah, I guess the flexibility is the thing that appealed to you at first. But once you actually got started and the business started running, what did that feel like? Because it went pretty quickly for you.
It did. I mean, from a flexibility standpoint, it was great because I could still drop my kids off at school, pick them up. But I will always remember once my business was going, my daughter was going on this field trip that she needed Pioneer clothes. We lived in Northern California at the time. And I remember I was sewing her a Pioneer dress while I had my phone on my shoulder negotiating a deal. And I had my iPad next to me texting, negotiating another deal all at the same time. And I just paused for a second and I just thought, you know what? I am so thankful I have been able to do well in this field that I can do all of this at once and still feel like I'm here for my kids and not dropping the ball in a place that's super important to me.
I mean, and I think you said it about having the confidence to get there, right? Like, I've always been of the mindset, like, I'd rather fail and try than never try and you still fail anyway, right? So, like, what's the worst case scenario? And I love that, like, the positive thinking. I talk about that a lot with my clients, like, trust me, when the right house is there, it'll all work out as it's meant to. And, you know, you keep reiterating that. So I really, really agree with all of that for sure.
I love the Wayne Gretzky quote. It's attributed to him, but I think he actually came out and said he didn't say it, but whatever. That says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You're going to fail if you don't even try. So you might as well try, and maybe you'll surprise yourself and you'll do it. You'll accomplish it.
But this comes from somebody who has done Iron Man, and then you just went to law school.
Just casually.
Just finished and are about to complete the bar. Don't you think though? I mean, I know you so well, but don't you think that when you went from, you know, you were married, then you get divorced, then you get your real estate license to support your kids, do you think you would have had the kind of confidence to go to law school if you hadn't gone through everything with real estate and also with the training? Because those are both huge things to do that will give you more confidence to do more later, whether it be in the same career or a new one.
Yes and no. I mean, I've always, law school, like I said, has always kind of been in the back of my head, but my kids were little. And I have so many people tell me, don't go to law school when your kids are little because you'll never see them. So that's why I went into real estate. But no, I totally agree with you. And it isn't just about my career, but every hard thing that I've set my mind to and accomplished has prepped me for harder and harder things, like triathlons, for example. I grew up as a competitive swimmer. I started running after I had kids and then started cycling later in life and found out, hey, I'm actually a pretty strong cyclist. So I thought, well, why not do triathlons? The only triathlons I've ever done are half and full Ironman. Like, I've never done anything shorter because, again, why not? And so, again, like I was saying, if I'm going to try, I'd rather fail trying than fail by not even trying at all. I saw a thing somewhere several years ago that was a wall they put maybe in Manhattan or somewhere that people would go and write their regrets on. And people live with more regrets for things that they haven't done or haven't tried than that they have done or have tried. And that really stuck with me. And so I just have really taken to heart that, hey, if it pops into my mind and it seems outrageous, but it's something that truly I think I want to do, I'm going to do it. That nickname came not from me. I did not dub myself that, but that nickname came as I started gaining notoriety or just visibility in the real estate community, because I was driving a Honda Odyssey minivan selling luxury real estate in California. That's where the $1 Million Mom thing came from. It wasn't anything to do with my wealth or anything like that. It was about how I took being a mom and built it into this big business. And so, was there ever a time I said, I can't do this? I mean, there were definitely times where it was scary working on a commission only job when you've got 3 kids to support. And if you don't produce, they don't eat. But again, going back to Napoleon Hill, he talks about the greatest constructs in human history have arisen out of necessity. I had that necessity. I did not have a safety net. There was zero safety net for me. And I think that was probably the best thing to ever happen to me.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't work for everybody that way, but I like what you said. And I know it from knowing you that like telling you can't do something is like, you're just going to regret ever saying that to you. But I mean, I think it's whatever somebody can use to motivate themselves to do it. And if it's that, then great. But I think what's interesting about your story is when I met you, this is like very long ago, probably 7 years ago. It was just at the beginning of the whole $1 Million Mom thing. And I remember like right away knowing that you had nothing to do with that. You were just doing your business and people were finding you and the notoriety came to you, and you smartly were able to just take it on and say like, okay, I mean, if you want me to speak, I'm going to speak. And then you took it from there, which has now taken you to, the American dream and many places in between. So, I mean, how did you feel about that though when it started? Was it like empowering to you, or was it almost like, well, this is just another thing I have to do now?
I mean, both. But it definitely was empowering because I'm a person that loves big quotes. But one of my favorite quotes is, I was given this mountain to climb so others could see it was possible. And so that's why I love speaking. That's why I love that I was given that nickname, again, not from this ego standpoint, but I love showing especially women, you can do this. Because if you look at the real estate industry, about 70% of licensees are females. But if you look at the top producers around the country, then the majority of those are men. And again, I love you, Jonathan. But generally speaking, I'm speaking to women to say, you can have a big business and be a mom, or be there for your significant other or your fur babies, or whatever it is. I feel like especially as women, we fall into the role of nurturing. So when we are building a big business, there's usually something else that we're nurturing as well. And that's what I want my message to be, is that you can do both. You can do it. In fact, I think women are honestly some of the best equipped to do it, because we know how to nurture and we know how to get stuff done. I think one of the important things is being present where my feet are at that moment. And sometimes that's hard, and I will never be the first person to say I'm perfect at that, and building an awesome team. I mean, that's the crux of it. And I decided very early on in my career that I would rather net less money and have a better quality of life. And when I say net less money, that means I'm hiring people. Because it doesn't matter. I can have millions of dollars in the bank, but if I'm miserable, what good are those millions of dollars doing? If my children hate me or feel like I'm never present, who cares about the money? One of the analogies that I use is that I never want to be like one of those hikers that dies of dehydration that they find with water still in their bottle. And so that's super important to me. There's tons of studies that are done that once you pass the threshold of your income, of your needs being met, your happiness doesn't increase. And so it's finding that happy medium of, where is my dream of building this huge empire, but yet where does that intersect of also my dream of having a strong and close family? And so where that intersects is me netting less money and being okay hiring people. And especially as independent contractors, when you bring on your first W-2 employee, that is terrifying because you are responsible for their payroll. And I think one of the things that a lot of people do wrong as agents is they will bring on co-agents first. And that's not how you should do it. That is not. You should hire someone who can take any of your income producing tasks away. That should be your first hire. And so how do I do it? I'm not hesitant to bring people on.